Legend of War here, and today we've got a disaster battle, but it's already been played. So this is actually a replay because it was from yesterday's live stream. So this was actually my own disaster battle. I got into a terrible situation in a battle when I was playing as the Von Karsteins, and Snicket ambushed me, and all I had was skeletons and a lord and a necromancer. Anyway, this was such a interesting fight that I thought it's worth making a replay video on it. And now that I'm not actually fighting it, I think I'll be able to provide commentary over what was going through my mind and how I decided to go through it. And as an added bonus, I will provide this a link, like a Gmail, not Gmail, like a Google Drive link to this replay, so that you can download it, and if you want, fight the battle yourself and see how you go. But you'll see. So all I've got is just skeletons. That's all I got. And Snitch has basically storm vermin, clan rats, loads of rattling guns, warp fire throwers, and death glow bombardiers. So a vastly superior army to mine. So as usual, there was no time to set up. This was, of course, on legendary difficulty. And if you want to see me play this live, you can do so on the VOD of the previous video. So basically, I had to kick into gear straight away, select the entire army, and just attack their front line, because there's no time to set up. I knew that if we were going to win this, we had to try to get their like flaming units, their high-powered damage units away, and just sending like skeletons after them, not to actually beat them in melee, but just to chase them away, would be really good. I also had to try to get rid of their best melee units. So yeah, those warp fire throwers, they're pretty damn dangerous. These guys both have arcane conduit, and I knew that Wind of Death, a good Wind of Death, could make or break this battle. We actually get to see the balance of power. Oh, see, I didn't get that when playing on legendary difficulty because it's a replay. We could see what the initial balance of power was. So I believe that the first Wind of Death is going to come through here, and I'm trying to pull my units out of there so that I can get a better line. I believe I still hit a lot of my own troops, but, you know, their troops are storm vermin, mine are just skeletons, so who really cares if you hit your own troops? Anyway, the Skaven don't really care that they're hitting their own troops with their warp fire throwers. Now the next, yeah, that's what I was doing. So I started summoning zombies, basically just to try to get these guys away because they were causing so much damage. Of course the zombies won't even beat them in melee, especially not on legendary difficulty, but it's not about that. Because the AI always run away with skirmish units, it doesn't matter what unit you send at it, they still try and run away. It also drew away that assassin, which was what I was trying to do, but still. The next Wind of Death, I think, is coming through here real soon. Just have to wait until I had enough Winds of Magic. And while this is all going on, the necromancer is going between the groups, trying to heal them, you know, just passively, and also providing vigor mortis. I can't stress enough how important a necromancer is in a vampire army. So the battle slowed down a little bit because I had units moving to try to chase away a lot of these guys. The rattling guns honestly weren't that big of a concern, it's more the warp fire throwers. But the thing is, the warp fire throwers were probably doing a lot of damage to their own units as well. I knew that if we were to win this, which I wasn't actually trying to win necessarily, I just wanted to do as much damage to them as possible. But I knew I had to get rid of their best melee units because the rattling guns are terrible when assaulting settlements. And this battle here was to save Karak 8 Peaks, which would have come under siege straight after this defeat. Here comes the Wind of Death. So at this point here, the generals clocked 414 kills. And that was the final wind of death of the battle. The rest of the spells that I cast from here on out are zombies, because we had already killed off all their main line. It's gone. And I've only got a few skeletons left. Yeah, so he's just chasing that away. From here on out, it's just zombies. I have to do my best to try to avoid Snitch, because he's really good in melee. Yeah, so what I was trying to do is create a zombie swarm, protecting the general and the necromancer from any units, just by popping down zombies, just so that they just don't get hurt. Couldn't possibly hit them. Now, they're at full health, of course, because they both... they regenerate because of his ability. I don't think I dropped a single Nehek in the entire battle. And the balance of power was still horrendous even at this point. But if you have a look, we have killed off more than half of their troops. So, at this point here, I was like satisfied even if the army loss penalty had been inflicted, because I knew that with this amount of damage done to Snitch's army, that he would not be able to besiege Karak 8 Peaks. He wouldn't succeed. So yeah, another thing that I knew is that the assassins and Snitch they're good at taking on single entity targets, like small single entity targets, provided they're not surrounded by zombies. So that's why whenever they came in here, I just kept putting zombies down, and then my general was actually able to beat them in melee, despite it being on legendary difficulty. Now I believe that this lord here was only rank 12, and only put points into making him a good magic user at this point. See, if you ever look at his skill tree, well, you know, as much as you can. It's got Wind of Death and Arcane Conduit, which you need to be minimum level 12 to get that. So, balance of power wasn't great. Pop down some cinematic shots, but at the same time it's good to know what's going on with the banners. So looking at him, how much more did he have to heal? Still plenty of healing to do. So he's getting regeneration, 2 types of regeneration, Unholy Lodestone and Master of the Dead. This is one of the reasons why necromancers are so damn good. And also, necromancers, they can summon 10 zombies in a given battle, provided you've got the Winds of Magic. And this guy could summon up to 6. So yeah, at this point here, I pretty much had none of my original troops. It was basically just the necromancer and the lord and zombies. I think actually there was one over here. Yeah, that's still around. So that's not Snickish, that's just one of his assassins. Oh, it's also important to, I guess, note that Snickich is actually part of Clan Moors in this. He was confederated into Clan Moors. So that assassin got killed. And then it was just a matter of trying to get Snickich. Balance of power keeps getting worse. But those of you who watched the live stream yesterday, you know what happens. I think I'll also put a timestamp for the where it is in the yesterday's live stream, because you might want to watch it live. It's pretty epic. I mean, you might want to watch it as it happened live. I mean, this is just a replay now. So quite a lot of rattling guns. Still, the warp fire throws still have a lot of ammo, and I'm just popping down as many zombies as I can. Because at this point in the campaign, I have recruited quite a lot of knowledgeable heroes, which is why I keep telling people, if you're gonna be focusing with magic factions, you gotta be getting those knowledgeable heroes. Because if I hadn't gotten the knowledgeable heroes that I did, I would not have been able to summon all of these zombies. I would have used up all my magic by now. What's his missile resistance? The necromancer. Alright, doesn't let me show it. So obviously we don't want the necromancer fighting Snickich, so I had to keep getting him out of there. But I didn't mind if the vampire lord fought Snickich, as long as there was zombies around him as well, because Snickich is really good. He's got like no area of effect attack. He's actually really bad against infantry. So if he's fighting zombies, just the meat shield, the vampire lord can actually do a lot of damage, because Snickich is actually quite squishy. So my skeletons over here actually managed to run off those warp fire throwers. Now at this point I was like really just completely out of winds of magic, and it was regenerating really slowly. So I knew that I had to keep popping down zombies, or else I was going to have the army loss penalty inflicted on us. Because I knew that just the presence of them on the battlefield counted for balance of power for me. So I had to keep a balance between summoning it and also conserving as much winds of magic as possible, because obviously the more I cast, the slower it regenerates. I think at this point I had like 10 winds of magic reserves. Something very low. And the only way I was getting any regeneration was thanks to Arcane Conduit, using it both at the same time. Damn, look at that balance of power, it's actually improving. See, I couldn't see this at the time. I was still convinced at this point I was still losing, which technically I am. General's up to 459 kills and he's almost reached his max healing now.
They flee! We run!
Okay, we're approaching the final moments of the battle, and we can see the balance of power is just about even. It might have just hit even there, and this is where we started to put the smackdown on Snitch, because he was too bogged down fighting zombies, and the Lord actually managed to get a couple of really good hits on him. And there's the army loss penalty. So this point here, I just tried to kill Snickich, which didn't work. He did actually run off the battlefield. But I had absolutely no right winning this battle, and a part of me would think at some point, you know, just once my front line had basically dissolved, just give up sort of thing. You know, they've clearly won. But this is really just a lesson in don't ever give up. If you've still got something left to give in a battle, just keep fighting, because you never know. Part of the problem here is that these guys here just ended up running out of ammunition, or even when they still had ammo, kept throwing themselves in here because they ran out of they completely ran out of melee units. But yeah, they under no circumstances should they have lost that battle, considering they actually ambushed me as well. I didn't get any time to like properly wind of death them on the approach. Had to fight them right away. But I really enjoyed this battle, and I hope you guys did too. Anyway. Links in the description if you want to play this battle yourself, and if you want to watch it as it happened live, I'll put a timestamp so that you know exactly when to find it in the live stream from yesterday. Anyway, I'll be live streaming again tonight. Hope to see you there, and I'll see you next time, fuckers.